Hey guys, it's Grant for Local Scraper, and in this video I want to show you a quick start on Local Scraper and its options. So let's get right into it. When you first open the program, it'll look something like this. This is what the program looks like at the time of recording. So if your program doesn't look like this, there might be subtle changes, probably nothing too major. Okay, over here we have our scrape target. This is where all the sites we scrape are. If the site is not on this list, we don't scrape it. You'll see that some of them, for example here, and Google and Yellow Pages, currently have a quick and a full option. What this is that the full gets more data, the quick is faster and gets less data. So to visualize that real quick, what this would do is it would come and do a search. It would be Burgers Key West kind of thing in Google and Chrome here. And what the quick would get is it would be able to get these details for each business on this page because you can see them, right? The full version would actually click on each one of these businesses one by one and visit them and get more details. So the quick is fast because look at this, it gets, this many in a row just in one little go. The full is slower because it has to visit each one of these pages one at a time separately. But again, they get more details. Okay. If you want to know more about them a little bit, there's a little bit in writing under this video on the README page. Okay, the keyword, this is what you're searching for. Burgers, asphalt, lawn services, whatever you want. You put it in here. The location, this is where you're looking for that business. So you would put something in like city, zip code, district like Soho Art District. The more details you can give, the better the program will work. So you can't just put Soho, you would have to put Soho and like New York along with that, so it knows you meant the Soho in New York City, not the Soho in Los Angeles if they had one. I don't really know. The thing you can't do here is you cannot put in USA. You cannot use anything that's very, very large. All of the sites we scrape are built for normal human users, which are just looking for a pizza place or something like that. And nobody is going to search for a pizza place across an entire state, an entire region, an entire country. So these sites all know that the only person who would ever do that would be a bot, so they'll never show us that much data. So what you're normally going to be doing here is you're going to be using city and state, which is what I recommend. You can throw in state and zip code. So we can do this. That works pretty well. You'll just want to keep it small. The smaller you go, the more results you'll have. You'll get more duplicates perhaps if you do an adjacent zip code. Like if we were to change this to A1, there will be a lot of overlapping in the businesses, but we'll make sure we have 100% coverage. So it's really a trade-off. The custom URL is if you did the search yourself at the website and then use the URL from the thing. So we're going to bring this up again here. And this would be our custom URL. And we can copy and paste that straight from here into the program. Now why this is useful is, for example, on Yelp, there's filtering. And you can filter by price, filter by highest rated, filter by category. So if I really only wanted burger places and I was searching for burgers, then these are categories that are listed as burger. Now we'll see they added some up here sorted by rating, category burgers, attraction, restaurant, price range. All of that will go into the scraper. And if we paste that here and we have Yelp Full or Yelp Quick and we click Start, it will scrape this exact page that would look exactly like this. Now, if you were to do this normally in the program, you would have to, we can't use the filters, essentially. So if you put burgers in here and Key West, Florida in there, the results would look different than these results because we were able to use filters to change the results in the format they're in. Okay, keyword list, location list. I actually have a video on this lower on the README page, but I'll go over it really quick. Basically, you don't want to use more than 20 lines, so your list cannot be like 3,000 keywords, because the program just can't support that much scraping. But what this is it's a semi-automation ability. So if I wanted to search pizza here, and I wanted to search burgers, you know, but I wanted to do it in the same location, I would have to like do it individually. Like I'd run this, and then I'd come up here and I'd change this, and I'd go pizza, and then I'd run the scraper again, kind of thing. What this is that you can feed into the program a list. So there's a couple ways to do this, but the most basic way, which I'll outline here, again there's another video below here, is that the keyword list and the location list should be the same length. So if this one is 10 keywords, this one needs to be 10 locations, even if they are repeated somewhat. There's no weird algorithm that'll figure out if you fed it 100 different locations and 5 keywords, it won't realize that you wanted all 5 of those locations run across all 100s of those keywords. It just doesn't work. Again, there's another video talks a little bit more about this. The custom URL list is exactly the same thing. It is a list of URLs like this that you put into a basic text file and then load into the program. Right here we have the log window. This will tell you what the program is currently doing. If you hit start, it will say starting. Right now on first load here, it has the patch notes for the what's changed in the current version and stuff like that. But in here you'll see more details. Up here we have records found. This is how many business listings the program has found and are in its queue to visit. So in the example of like the full scraper, this could say 100, so I found 100 businesses. The record saved is 0, which means I haven't actually visited and scraped any of them yet. Using proxies, this will just be true or false. This is just to let you know. Proxy options we'll get to in a second. Max threads, you set your max threads in the options here. It'll just tell you what you set. Current threads is how many are being used by the program. And you'll see that when you're running the program. Okay, start, stop, pretty basic. Down here is a browser. By default, this is the README page. You can scroll down and go over the README page if you need. You can also click this Need Help button and it will take you to the README page as well. Okay, now let's go to the main options. Over here we have our proxy options. Again, I have separate videos that cover this lower on the README page. But basically, you're going to want to click Use Proxies. You can test them if you want. You don't have to test them every run, but every couple of runs is fine, just to weed out dead ones kind of thing. You will want to supply a username and password for your proxies. Most all providers provide this somewhere. Proxy Bonanza, who I recommend, I have a video on how to get that set up, where your password is, stuff like that below. You would click here. You would give the program a proxy list, text file, or CSV with proxies and IP port formats, just like this, under each line in a file. If you're using a single provider like Storm proxies, again, another video, you would check this as well. So it would be this, use proxies, and use single proxy, and then you would be fine there. Okay, over here is the wait time. By default, the program will wait about 2 to 3 seconds between page loads. If you want the program to go faster, you can set this lower, say to 1. You can set it really low to like 0.5. But you're going to need a lot of proxies for that, because you're really going to be hammering the websites at that point. And the faster you go, the odds of you getting caught and the odds of your proxies getting blocked go up exponentially kind of thing. So you really have to toy with this, which is why the default is 2 to 3. So if you don't know what you're doing, you can leave it at 2 to 3. If you want to be more conservative, change it to 4, change it to 5. This will slow down the program, but it'll also be safer scraping and far more respectful to the website that we are scraping. Nobody wants their site to be hammered by robots over and over and over again. So, I mean, if you set this to 8, it would be very conservative, and you'd be good to go. Again, the scraper will run slower though. Okay. Threads. This is how many simultaneous connections you want to make to the website we are scraping. So the first step, we'll visit the website. You know, it'll gather this URL, this URL, this URL, this URL, and so on. After it has those, in stage 2, it's going to visit each one of those businesses one by one. Normally, if this is just one, then it'll visit the one business, it'll finish there, it'll then go to business 2, finish there, business 3, so on. If this was at 3, then it will visit all 3 of those businesses at the same time, scrape them, close them, and open 3 more, kind of thing. So consider this how many workers you're going to send out into the world to multitask, essentially. The more threads, the faster the program will go. The more threads, the more likely you are to get caught again. So make sure you watch those videos about proxies and the single proxy providers below, because they are important. Max listings. This is the maximum number of listings you want the program to scrape. So if you wanted only the first 10, you could put 10 in here, and then it would go to Yelp kind of thing. It would go back here, and it would scrape to 10. 10's not here. Oh, because I sorted it. We used the filters. Anyway, it would go to 10, and it would grab those 10 businesses and then bring them back into the program and scrape them. Now, by default, most of the websites we scrape give 1,000 listings at most. Okay, so if you went to Yelp and you put in cafes and you put in, I don't know, California or something like that, it's only going to give you 1,000 results. If you put in cafes in Paris, it's still only going to give you 1,000 results. There could be 5,000 cafes in Paris, but they're not going to give them to you. Which is why I said before to change your area into something smaller, and don't use a large city, state, something like that. You can't do a country. But usually you just change this if you don't want all 1,000 listings. So cafes in Paris, it's going to give me 1,000 listings. I don't want 1,000 listings. I only want the top 5. Set this to 5. The program will get the top 5. Okay? Okay, file saving options. If you click here, it will add a time and date stamp to the files. This works out well to avoid the program from overwriting a file if it's already in the folder, because the program does auto-save data. So as soon as, over here, as soon as record saved is greater than 0, we have a CSV file saved in the program folder. Wherever this program is located will be a CSV file with your data. So if I was to search pizza, and I was going to do Key West again, and I ran this and it saved stuff, and then, you know, 2 days later I was like, oh, is there any new pizza places? I would run it again, kind of thing, but oops, it overwrote my thing because it saved the file as Pizza Key West, Florida, and the other file was named Pizza Key West, Florida. So unless you are manually moving, renaming your files, there is a chance you might overwrite an old one if it's still in the folder. So check timestamp files. It'll add a timestamp. You'll be good to go. Okay. Set location. This is where you are able to change where files are saved. Now, lots of people have problems with saving files for some reason. So there's a couple things you could do. By default, like I said, it saves all files into the same folder as this program is located. So if you unzip this program and it's in your C user downloads folder, the files saved by the program will be in your downloads folder. Now you might have some sort of Windows permission problem that doesn't allow you to save in that folder. For example, if it's in your documents for some reason, or if it's like all sprawled out on the desktop, and the program can't write files there, you can change it. You can hit set location and you can tell it to save them somewhere else. Always make sure you test the program is saving data. So put something in like 5, do some sort of scrape, have record saved 5, go to wherever you think the file should be, again default, same folder, or check your save location and see if a CSV file is there. If not, go down to the troubleshooting section on this README page and go through that. But again, set location, you can actually set this to Dropbox, OneDrive, Google Drive, whatever you have, you can change it here so it's not in the same folder as the program. Okay? Scraper options. If you want the program to find emails, you need to check this box, find emails. Most sites do not provide emails by default. Yelp has no emails on it. If you want emails, you will need to check this box. And what the program will do is it will scrape the business. It'll go to the business page. It'll get all the details. If the business has a website and this box is checked, the program will visit the business's website and it will try to find an email there. Okay? It will also look for Facebook, Twitter, and Google Plus account links at the same time. These will not show up in the little data grid that shows up down here when you're running the program, but they will be in your save file. So if you want to see your emails and you don't see anything down in this lower half, you need to check your save files. Okay? Browser settings. By default, we're using a portable version of Google Chrome. This version is included with the program and is installed automatically by the scraper. We're doing this so we're not using your copy of Google Chrome, so it has none of your user settings in it, nothing like that. It's better for hiding what you're doing because it's like an anonymous version of Chrome that's not your normal one. Also, we do this because Chrome can sometimes update, auto-update, to a point where we are unable to remote control it until we can update our software as well. So in the past, sometimes Chrome would update too fast, and we would always be chasing how to control it. So what we've done is we've made a static version of Google Chrome that the program will use by default. Now, if you don't want to use the Chrome Portable and you want to use your installation of Chrome, change this to Chrome. That's it. Hide browser will do just that. By default, you would click this thing and it would run, and then a browser would pop up like this, and you would see the scraper kind of robotically going through it and doing stuff. If you don't want to see that, you would hit the hide browser button. You have to do this before you start the scraper. If you start the scraper and you don't have this open and this thing pops up, you cannot click here to make it go away and the program keep working. Because that means you changed where the browser went and the program doesn't know where the browser went. See? Some other little options here. If you're using Yelp Full and you only want to scrape the advertisements, because I've had people ask for that. There's no ads on this because I filtered it. It would scrape the ads at the top of the page only and not normal business listings. The language options over here are if you live in some other country, like you're in Germany kind of thing, and when you go to Google Full or Quick, Google Maps, the results are in German because Google knows where you are, kind of thing. So if you click here, this will tell Google that you want results in English no matter where you are located. So if you're located in Tokyo, Japan, and you want English results, click Force English, and they will be in English. Okay. This is also pretty good if you're using proxies that are worldwide. I've had issues where sometimes my proxy provider would give me a proxy and it would be from, Germany, and suddenly I have results that are in German. I was like, well, where did the German results come from? Google figured out where the proxy was from, and they changed the language based on the location. So if you had enough worldwide proxies, your results might be in multiple languages, which you probably don't want. The disable near in search. Near is an English term, obviously, and it's what we use to put in between the keyword and location. So in our example here, it would go to Yelp or Google or whatever, and it would search pizza, and it would add near Key West, Florida. There you go. So if I was to turn this off, it would search pizza, Key West, Florida. So if your language is not English, you want results in German or whatever it is you use, you would put your equivalent, or if you're scraping Google, it's just one big line instead of a single keyword and a single location. So you could put in pizza and in Key West, Florida, again, whatever your language is. Pizza around Key West, Florida. You can put what you want, but you need to disable near because it would still add it. So this would be pizza around near Key West, Florida if I didn't have that option turned off. For Yelp and the other sites, they all have an individual keyword and location box, so you can't put pizza around and then disable near because it doesn't work. That's why it says Google Quick and Full only. Okay? Next up, we have the tools section. This is where you can save and load settings. This will save all your stuff. So if you want force English, disable near, Yelp ads, find emails, max threads 10, wait time 5, you filled out all this stuff, you have your proxies in here, everything. What you do is you then hit save settings. Okay? And then next time you open the program, you can just hit load settings, and all of these will be auto-populated back to what they were. Now this is really good because, you don't always want to set the location, don't always want to set the proxy file over and over again. So save your settings, load the settings. If you save, it overwrites your older save. So there's only one save settings here, and it just loads that one single one. Okay? Download Chrome Portable. As I said, it's now included by default. If for some reason yours breaks, you delete it, something goes wrong, you didn't know what it's for, you removed it, hit the download Chrome Portable and the program will download the current version that is on my server and install it so the program can work again. Okay? Manual save file. This is something I just added. A lot of people have scraped data. Like I said, they had records found 100, records saved is 100, but they checked in their save location and nothing was there, which goes back to what I was saying before about the file saving options, and you might not have the user permission level to write data to where you thought you could. So instead, you had a couple options. You could have copied and pasted it all out of this lower data grid that shows up, or you can stay where you are, go to set location, change the location to somewhere else, away from your desktop or wherever you had it, put it in Dropbox or something, that just change set location, and then hit this button, and it will save the results it found that are in the lower data grid, and it will put them somewhere else. And you can keep trying to change locations until you find a place it can save. Again, this is an emergency parachute for if you ran some large scrape and it didn't save the data and you were like, oh crap, I need this, you could try to get it. Okay? One last thing is I think I will run this real quick just to show you. what the scraper will do is it would go to the site. In this case, we have Yelp over here. I don't know what I select. We have Yahoo Local, so it's visited Yahoo Local. It is currently looking for pizza in Key West, Florida. So over here, we would see it go through these. It'll continue to click on the next pages. It only looks like there's 3 pages. So there you go. Oh, and we're at records found 10 because we set it to 10, right? Now, you see this data grid down here. As the scraper scrapes data, the data will show up down here, okay? It's being a little slow because we have current threads at 1. Change that to 4 real quick, just so we can see some sort of result. Okay, and down here, this is the data grid I was talking about earlier. It will only show up when there's a record saved. So as you'll see, we've gotten a result here. This means that we now have a save file somewhere on our computer with at least these 2 lines in it. Okay? If you see nothing down in this box, nothing has been saved, right? So we'll stop it real quick. And you can see we have the stuff here. So if you needed to and it didn't save, you can use that emergency save, or you can attempt to copy and paste the details out of here and paste them into Excel. But again, that's like an emergency parachute. The program does auto-save data every time it gathers a new listing. It auto-saves it. So just make sure the program is able to write data to the proper location. Okay, I think that's it. If you need to know anything else, check the README page. Check the videos about the proxies, go through the troubleshooting. I try to cover as much as I can. Check that out. If worst case happens, email me, support@localscraper, and we'll see if we can fix it. All right? See ya.